So we're done with the bag work, which you'll have seen in the previous video. So I've just done my 7 rounds, structured as we talked about in the previous one, and really pushing the cardio. That extra round is kicking my ass, but now we're gonna move into another raw functional workout. So this is this crossover between bodybuilding and functionality. So I'm gonna be taking you through today, chest, back, and biceps workout with a few little tweaks added in there to help increase that functionality, but still work the muscle, keep that aesthetic, and push that cardio level. First off though, I want to show you a little trick with a ball. And here it is. So we're talking about these little, I don't know what you call these, rehab balls?
Yeah, rehab balls.
Rehab massage balls, something like that. Anyway, they're super cheap, you can buy them on Amazon, and they come in different tensile strengths, so some are squishier, some are really hard. But this little sucker here is a real useful tool for getting out those niggles and those aches and pains, especially in joints like the shoulders. So I've got a little bit of impingement going on in the shoulder here. I use this to simply work it out before we train, and it really helps loosen up that joint and reduce that impingement, increase range of motion. Really easy. Find a wall, find your point of soreness. So for me, it's the tendon that runs across and down here, which is getting kind of inflamed. So I find that point there, sit the ball into it, onto the wall, and then all I'm going to do is sink my weight through until I feel like kind of an 8 out of 10 pain, and then I just sit there and hold, and I hold that until that 8 becomes like a 3, 2, 1, until eventually it will just go a little bit numb. And then what you can do is just roll slightly across until you feel that new point, and again press in until you get that 8 out of 10 kind of level of pain, and then it will just ease off. And you can do those static holds super easy. You can even really work rear delts on there as well. It really help increase that range of motion, break down those muscle fibers if you find it a bit tight. Or if you've got those issues where you're feeling pain in your shoulders, this could be the solution to those, or at least help improve that range of mobility and less kind of inflammation. So a simple couple of pounds on Amazon, and this could work wonders for you. Just don't whip out your balls in public. So now we're all loosey-goosey and sorted out. We've talked a lot about supplementation prior to your training, how it is massively dependent on what you're doing as to what you should be taking. Now, I've done my boxing, so I had my caffeine. I didn't want to pump during that, because if you pump out, you're going to get slow, you're going to get stiff, you're going to find it very awkward to have good mobility on the bags. But now I'm going into the weights, so now I'm going to take a little bit of this. This is the EHP PSI. This is the no stim version of a pre-workout. So this one is all about focus, pump, and blood flow, and that's exactly what we want now. I'm able to allow a bit of that pump to come in, because even though we're going to be doing some mobility work, this isn't going to over pump me, or I'm not going to get that kind of lower back pump out, forearm pump out from deadlifting and things like that, which is where I wouldn't want this. Straight to the dome, straight to the gym. This is how to take the piss. The Kraken piss. So you can't tell, but my bandana stinks. Put it in my gym bag thinking it was clean. It's not clean. There's a very good chance that we could get some machinery here today just on the stink of this alone. But what you do need to know, other than the stinky headband, is the fact that I train high frequency. That means I train everything at least twice a week. That allows me to do a lot of variations of exercises. And today what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at some weighted movements, but what we're going to do is we're going to add in some different angles of attack. So we're going to be doing some chest, some back, and biceps. And what we're going to try and do throughout this is add ranges of motion, add some new movements in that maybe you haven't tried, give you some ideas to maybe adapt into your own training. And we're going to be doing 2 exercises per body part, 5 sets. Now, normally what I would do with this is I would superset them. 1, it's a time saver, but 2, I'm kind of liking that high tempo training at the moment. And what I would do is I would superset one body part with another, so that you're moving from one body part into a fresh body part. That reduces rest times. It often makes your workouts way more compact, and you're not suffering, because when you move to the new body part, because we're doing chest and then back, they're not antagonistic, so they're fresh when you go back and forth. But it's busy, it's kind of a peak time here, so I'm not going to be that guy that takes up 2 pieces of equipment and pisses people off. Gym etiquette 101, don't be a cock with your training. So we're going to start on chest, and then we're going to be moving into back, and then we're going to finish on the bicep side of things. Most people start chest with a dumbbell press or a barbell press. I'm going to challenge you to start it with cables. Why? This is going to help open up the body. It requires a lot more control. You're going to be able to work that mind to muscle connection, and we're thinking about squeeze and range of motion on this. We're going to be doing a 3-point cable, not crossover, but cable fly. So that means that the hands are going to come together, but we're not going to cross. I don't like the idea of crossing because it's not symmetrical and it causes kind of an imbalance or a leading side to drive through. This is how a 3-point system that I use a lot works. Setting yourself, you're going to have the same start and stop position. We're going to come low, squeeze, back up to that same start position. Then we're going to come to the standard middle area, bam, squeezing again at the chest. Back to that same start position, and then we're going to come high and turn the hands over and squeeze, keeping those shoulders back. Try not to pronate or dip. And this is our 3 points. So 1, back, squeeze, back, turn over, boom. And what we're looking for here, 15 reps. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, basically 5 times, 5 sets, and then we're going to move on to the next functional move.
I'm here to win it, I don't do it if they think I'm playing. Hit the top and get it popping, yeah, that's where I'm staying. They don't understand, I don't need a plan. Fire up the van, riding with the fam, spinning my advance. Damn, and I ain't got nothing to say. I just been stuck in my lane, all of this stuff in the bank. Here to get all of the pot, whether you like it or not. Pin it to get to the spot, damn, we've been mobbing a lot.
Okay, so on to the second movement now. This is chest. So 2 movements for every body part, remember, 5 sets. This is another 3-point movement. Now this one I found is fantastic for really helping open up the shoulders and chest together. You're going to aim for around 12 to 15 reps on this exercise. Ideally we want to get 5 reps in each motion. So we start underhand grip and press 5. Then we're going to turn to a hammer grip. And we're going to press 5, not letting the shoulders pronate at any point. And then we're going to turn out, dip the inner heads of the dumbbells in, and press up for another 5. So you've got 3 points of press, 3 different angles, 3 different elbow positions. This is all about focus and squeeze. Don't just try and throw them up. We're going to be using lighter weights. So what we're seeing here is a higher volume kind of rate. So that's going to mean less weight, but we're doing more reps. If you want to do this heavier, by all means you can do. Just aim for like 2 or 3 reps per motion. Absolutely sweet. That'll hit you around that 9 rep range.
We've been going bigger from the start, yeah. Keep it way up, going down and leave a mark, yeah. Rip it up, boy, tear it right apart, yeah. Open up that motherfucker, let it bark, yeah. Cause I don't know how we do it. We ride it now. Keep it up right now or lose it. We ride, never stay down. Gotta stay around to prove it. We ride it now. Keep it up right now or lose it. We ride, never stay down.
So now we're moving on to back. What I want you to register here, normally what I would do is I would do chest, then back, then chest, then back. The reason I'm not doing that today is because the gym is so busy and I don't want to take up people's space. But normally what you do is split this body part for body part, one after the other. Or like I said before, if you're doing the supersets, you would do a chest and a back, a chest and a back superset together. Make sense? Cool. So now we're gonna move on to the back. This is a really nice movement, probably one you haven't thought of doing, but super easy. And it's using the lat pull down, but it's just a variation on lat pull down, and this is fantastic, especially if you suffer from imbalances. This is going to work each side independently, but while you're working one side, the other side is going to have to stabilize and stay involved in the movement. You're going to sit as normal, making sure that you pin your freaking legs. This is here to pin you in, so that when the weight is lifting up against you, you're not rising up. Just like when you're on a leg press and you grip the handles to pull as you drive, there's the same thing here. Drive your feet into the floor as you pull down. That's gonna help you not swing movements in. So from here, we're gonna grab as normal, sit down, wedged in under that seat. A normal lat pull down, what you want to do is you want to keep the rib cage down, but expose the chest. So so we're not doing this big overarch with our shoulders rolled right back. What we want to do is engage your scapula, rib cage down, and then arch that lower back. Then we're going to pull past the face and squeeze at the top of the chest. That's a normal lat pull down. We're going to vary it by using one arm at a time. So from here, keeping the right arm straight, but that scapula engaged, I'm going to pull down with the left like a normal lat pull down, squeeze, and then back up to the top. Extend, don't let the shoulder pop, and then pull down with the right side and squeeze. So as we're squeezing with one side, the other side is having to stabilize. It's having to work all that shoulder, rear scapula to keep everything in line. And we're making each side work independently yet together. And this is an absolutely fantastic movement for really developing that mind to muscle connection with the back, really learning to pull through and squeeze with the elbows. And what that does is it helps you be able to balance your left from your right, to connect separately with your left from your right, so that when you pull together, you're able to feel each side in its own independent way, so that immediately, if one side's leading, you're going to be able to feel it and correct it.
I've been down, I'm a day one boy. I've been on a mission and I'm ready to destroy. I ain't fake, I'm going in. You know this ain't a decoy. And I'm coming for your place, you ain't got a choice. Give me the bike, riding fast to the checker flag. I just 7 dudes on their ass. Yeah, I really ride, yeah, I really rap. If you come at me on the track, you gonna get passed. If you come at me on the mic, you gonna get smashed. I keep my money right and I keep on getting cash.
So that's first exercise on back done. Second one, now we're going to be doing a variation of the bent over row. But what we're going to do here is we're going to force the entire body to work. I'm going to force ourselves to have to hold the neutral position, which for me personally is going to really help in terms of sorting out my pelvic tilt, because I have that forward tilting pelvis. What that tends to do is overarch my lower back on movements, which to me now feels normal. So what I need to do is neutralize my spine. I need to pull that lower abs in. I need to make sure that that pelvic tilt doesn't occur, make sure that I set it back. What this can actually do is make you feel like you're rounding, but just have a spotter check you or video yourself, and you'll see that by correcting it, you actually are neutral, but because you're so used to being kind of overextended or hyperextended with the lower back, it will feel almost like you're rounding. But as long as you keep your scapula engaged, head neutral, core strong, you'll be absolutely fine on this. But it is hard. This is not heavy. You're going to need some lightweight. We're thinking about pulling and squeezing, and the whole body's having to work to maintain the position, because we're going to be doing this standing and bent over. So here's your body position. We're going to keep our core tight. We're going to bend forward, kicking our hips back. We're going to keep our knees soft and really balanced, kind of hip width apart. Then we're going to aim to stay in this position here. Neutral spine, not overarching. I'm going to be grabbing the dumbbells in a hammer grip. I'm going to pull up and squeeze at the top. What I'm going to try and not do is pigeon neck or bounce my body. Much like you would feel on a seal row, but here obviously we're not lying on a bench and letting our body weight sink into something else. We're having to hold our own body weight in position, as well as do this back pull, drive, squeeze, mind to muscle. It isn't easy, but it feels fucking amazing once you've done it.
You ain't doing something right, I see you down crash. Me and Vicky finished first, we never finished last.
We've been going bigger from the start, yeah. Keep it way up, going down and leave a mark, yeah. Rip it up, boy, tear it right apart, yeah. Open up that motherfucker, let it bark, yeah.
We're on to the final one now, biceps. And this is a little bit different in the fact that biceps are a very small muscle group. I know a lot of you want big arms, but big arms are really more about the triceps than the other biceps. Biceps are like the little cherry on the top, the little peachy peak. The peachy peak, look at that, peach bum. Can you see the peach bum? Can you see that line? Jay, if you can't see the line, you're not shadowing me correctly enough.
Sorry, mate.
Jesus Christ, Jay.
Sacked.
Unbelievable. They're going to figure out that I don't look like I look on Instagram if you keep yourself. What we're going to do here is 2 exercises. We're going to do the Zottman curl, then we're going to do a cross-body hammer curl, because I think they're both elbow sparing, there's a good range of motion, and especially the cross-body hammer is one I don't see a lot of people doing, and I think you'll find it really useful, and there's 2 variations of that. But the Zottmans, let's check these out. Light load, you are not going to need a heavy weight on this. What we're looking for is squeeze and control. So we're going to set our scapula, we're going to squeeze our glutes a little bit, have our feet hip width apart with soft knees, don't stand ever bolt upright with your knees locked out. You always want to be soft, because if someone's going to kind of try and shove you over, think about that. Shoulders back, chest up, core engaged. What we're going to do is curl up, squeeze, then we turn over at the top and control that negative, fight it on the way down. You're going to feel your forearms come in with this one. Now, if you have some shoulder pain on this, make sure that you really set those shoulders back and that you squeeze your glutes and core together. That's going to help stop you rocking forward, and that's going to help keep that focus on the biceps, keep those elbows nice and tight. So we scoop, twist, roll, fight. Ooh. We're only looking for 6 to 10s. Slow, controlled, consistent squeeze, scoop, curl. Woo. Oh. You're gonna enjoy these fuckers.
Cause I don't know how we do it. We ride it now. Keep it up right now or lose it. We ride, never stay down. Gotta stay around to prove it. We ride it now. Keep it up right now or lose it. We ride, never stay down.
Final one. What we're looking to do here is keep our shoulders engaged and back, and we're going to be bringing the dumbbell up to our opposite chest. So rather than curling up and ending here where a lot of people do, we're going to pin that elbow to our side and we're going to bring it up to the other side of your chest from the arm you're curling with. So by pinning the elbow here and keeping it in this range of motion, what we're doing is really forcing full contraction of the bicep and then full negative control, keeping the load on the bicep. What a lot of people will do, you'll see them kick their elbow out and they come down here. So what they're doing is they're taking that stress off the bicep, but what we need to maintain is a really strong scapular retraction, so that what happens as we release is we don't permanently let that shoulder go, because then you're going to stress out the shoulders, you're also losing that load on the bicep. So again, think lighter rather than heavy. Think control and contraction rather than sheer reps or movement. So single arms at a time, so that we can make sure that we're maintaining an equal contraction, control and focus on each side independently. So dumbbell out in front, I'm going to try and keep my elbow here, I'm going to set that shoulder back so it's retracted, but I'm not squeezing back, it's just retracted and controlled. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, bring my core in tight, and I'm not going to let the body rock off to one side. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my hand towards the top head of the dumbbell. So rather than being in the middle, I'm going to keep it here. Automatically that dips the back head, which now immediately puts stress on the bicep. So that means when I get down to a full negative, I'm not in a resting position, I'm still maintaining load on the bicep. From here, I'm going to keep my rib cage down. I'm going to move this arm out of the way. Sometimes I like to put it behind my back, or sometimes just by my side, whatever feels more comfortable. Then we're going to curl up to the opposite chest, squeeze, and then keep that focus all the way back down, full extension, flex the tricep if you need to get that muscle memory, get that control, then back up, bang, just like this. Keeping that shoulder under control, squeeze, boom. The other variation that you can do with this, and you get really good at it, is you can keep the hand more central, but what you're going to do is you get to the top, is you're just going to roll that over, boom, like that. A little bit more awkward to keep the shoulder back, but that really incorporates more forearm as well as bicep.
We ride it now. We ride it now. We ride it now. We ride it now.
Six, 7, 8, 9.
So there you have it. Back, chest, biceps. Hopefully that's giving you some ideas to implement some new stuff into your training regime. Add a couple more of those functional movements, a little bit of more of angles of attack, helping rebalance your body if you're feeling like you have a leading side, helping to reduce the risk of impingements, helping fight impingements that you might already have. These are great things that you can add in on a regular basis. And if, like me, you want to train high frequency, that means I'm training everything twice a week. So the versatility of that style of training allows you to try a lot more movements throughout each week. Not only is that going to benefit you in terms of progression, but just keeping shit interesting. The worst thing we can do when we come in here is be bored. Because if you're bored and you're going through just the rigmarole, going through, you know, motion after motion that you're used to, you're not going to be putting in the effort, you're not going to be pushing those boundaries, and you certainly aren't going to be making as much progression as you possibly should be. So, if you've got any questions, hit me up in the comments. We're going to head back home, eat some food, I'll show you my post-workout meal, and then we're done. Thanks for joining in so far. Let's go grub up. So we're home. Post-workout food. The old debate of shake or food, food or shake. We're back, and I'm lucky enough to have Eleni who prepares this. But relatively simple. This is a whole chicken. Obviously you can buy these from supermarkets pre-done. And what we're looking to have here is a good amount of chicken, like 200 grams. So we're looking at like a good 50-60 grams of protein from that. Then what I want is ideally some fast-acting carbs alongside some slow-acting carbs. Plus, I want to start adding some fats in now, because as I said before, I'm on that higher fat, lower carb diet. Now, it's not low carb, it's 150 grams a day, but that is considerably lower compared to the 350, 400 I was previously eating. Fats are at 150. So what I'm looking to eat here is keep the chicken skin on, add those additional fats in there, but should you have a shake after, with that 30-minute window before your muscle starts to fall off and all your progress leaves you behind? The real answer is it doesn't fucking matter. If you want to come home and you want to eat good food, eat good food. Just get some sustenance back into your body. What I actually opt to do is keep the shake until later, pre-bed, because it means I'm hydrated before I go to bed. It's quick and easy when I'm tired late at night and I want something simple and fast, rather than now, when I'm back from the gym, I want to decompress, I want to spend time at home relaxing. So that means enjoying what you're gonna have. Have some good food. Carbs wise, white rice. So we're talking a decent carb source, low fiber, relatively good volume to impact ratio. But if like me, you're on that reduced level carbohydrates and you maybe used a lot before coming home and you don't have that many left to play with, ready mash. This is the secret weapon of a low carb diet. Normal white potato, around 27 grams of carbohydrate per 100 grams of serving. These, 8 to 10. Black magic. It's all to do with resistance carbs and some of the shit. I don't know. I don't question it. We just praise the ready mash. 10 grams per 100 means that you can have twice the amount, nearly 2.5 times the amount of that over other potatoes. So if you feel like you want to volumize, that's a great alternative. Sweet potato has a little bit less carbs in it than the white potato options out there, so that's another one to go for. Plus, the more colors on your plate, the better. But the age-old question of, do you need a shake right after training? Are you going to lose all your muscle mass if you don't eat within an hour? No, and no. Don't worry about the minor things. Too many people invest too much energy in minor issues that really, in the long term, in that long game, don't really matter. So we're gonna eat this now, enjoy this. I'm gonna save that shake until later, and then I'm gonna go watch a film, chill out. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next episode. Boom, baby.
Lately I've been doing shit different, cooking like a chef, I've been all up in the kitchen. Had to make a move, had to make a little distance. A lot of people tripping, they could never see the vision. Fuck that, tell them bounce.